Hi everyone and welcome to Book Club with Bay. I am Bay and this is Bay. Say hi, Bay.
Hi, Bay.
And today we're talking about The Wheel of Osheim by Mark Lawrence. It's the third book in the Red Queen's War trilogy. And so we have finished another series.
Yes, we have.
We've
Yay
sort of,
us.
yeah, yay us. We've sort of finished a six-parter.
And it's a long one. It's a very long one. This book
It is.
was, what, 18 hours?
Yeah.
So it's not our longest book, but it's still a long one.
Well, like, if you don't count Harry Potter, which is just, like, absurdly,
Yeah, the fifth book in Harry Potter was 30 hours long. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. But outside of Harry Potter, this would be our longest, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, outside of Harry Potter, it's the longest book we've ever done.
And it was a ride.
It is a ride. It's a ride. Sorry.
This one has a fair bit less of just, hey, we're going for a walk for a book. Come along.
Yeah, there's a lot happens in this book.
I mean, there's still a fair chunk of we're going for a walk. Come along, but there's more stuff too. It's like with Broken Empire, how it was the same sort of thing the first two books, and third book still had a lot of it, but then there was actually like stuff.
Yeah, like it feels like we've gotten somewhere and now we can do things.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, ratings.
Oof.
Okay, so the easy ones I obviously stan.
Yes.
The first time I read it, I was a little overwhelmed.
I'm probably gonna go with overwhelmed, but in a positive way, because overwhelmed can be with positive or negative connotations. It just means you're being overwhelmed with a feeling. So I'm going to go with positive overwhelm.
Yeah, that's where I would sit. And then I didn't think of a food rating. I forgot we did that.
I didn't think of a. We'll go. I'll go with a really satisfying 5-course meal. I don't know what is in the meal. I'm just saying it's satisfying.
I'm stealing that because I don't know what to say.
Because it's more than a 3-course, but I don't think it deserves more than 5-course because half the book is still going for a walk.
Yeah,
but it's a really, really satisfying one.
It is a very satisfying walk.
Yeah.
Okay, so spoilers ahead because this is Book Club with Bay, not spoiler-free book review with Bay.
Yep.
And okay, so we were talking about this off stream, and in this case, we're going a little bit out of order.
Yeah, this happened about midway?
Yeah, about midway. But it's just something I don't want to forget to talk about. And also, when I was like in the first book, when I was like, by the way, I put a pin in all of these people.
They're all back.
They're all back. Everybody.
And it was super helpful because I don't know if because I haven't actually looked at the books themselves. I've got them, but I haven't actually looked at them. Do all of the books have obviously except the first ones? Do the other, does the second book have by the way, this is what happened last book bit? Because the audiobook didn't, but the audiobook for this one had by the way, this is what happened.
If you can just give me 1 second.
Okay.
Give me 1 second.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, the beginning of this audiobook was, and I'm guessing the physical book too, was so yeah, a lot of stuff's happened. Some of this stuff we're going to be discussing in this book we haven't seen since the beginning of book 1. So let's just refresh your memory. So there was a bit of a brief summary of these are the important points to remember. The rest was filler for the important points.
Okay. Hello. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah, I was just saying about that. I was just explaining what is at the beginning.
Right. So yeah. So the third book, I know it's in here. I know there's a preface to it. And yes, the
Okay, it
second
just
one
wasn't in the
also
audio.
has it.
Okay, it just wasn't in the audio. But
Also-
the audio for this one had it, which was nice.
Yes, it is very nice. Also, in case you're wondering, typically a preface as a noun is like pronounced like preface, because I know like I've gotten questions about this whenever we say it like that. A preface as in a noun is a preface, and then when you preface something, you say it like that. So the verb
Yeah,
is
so
preface.
preface is it's the same with oh, it's a pet hate of mine when people say placate instead of placate. I know that placid, which is like, they have the same root word. I get it. But it's pronounced placid with a soft C and placate with a hard C.
Yeah.
This is English, okay? We have about 50 different roots, and it's all just a bastardization, and that's why so many things don't make sense in English, okay? Because we've got Germanic roots, we've got Latin roots, etc., and it's just how the language works.
Yep. So,
yes, but anyway, yeah. So that's helpful, especially because there was a bit of a gap between the last, like, what, it's been close to a month, I think, since we did the last one.
Yeah,
and a month, if you're reading, for example, like YA, that's fine. You remember this,
and there's not enough to forget for it to matter.
Whereas even though, like, I don't know, Mark Lawrence has a way of making a walk really interesting.
Yeah, he does. I don't know what he's, because it's really, that's one of the things that's been really hard for us, like when talking about these books in the way that we do it, is because we hit on big plot points, and a lot of times we're like, there's not
there was like 2 important things that happened in this book,
and we're like, but also read it. We don't know how to not make this book sound bad because it's really good, but and a lot of important information is also disposed during the walking, but it's mostly walking.
It's it's all really, they don't translate well to book club.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that until we actually did them for book club.
Yeah, because like the plot of the first book in a nutshell is he meets a giant Viking. They go for a walk and end up in the cold.
Yeah, that was the plot of the first book.
I mean, a lot of stuff happens along the walk, but that's the plot in a nutshell.
Yeah, like they're very like the plot in and of itself not complicated. What the rest of it though?
Yeah, like because
he's a thick boy.
Yeah, like I mean the issue with talking about these books is it's made up of a bunch of like so many little tiny events and conversations.
Yeah.
Whereas most books are, a thing happened, and then another thing happened, and then another thing happened, and then they had a break. But then more stuff happened. Whereas this is like, it's more like life.
Yeah.
Like in a weird way.
Yeah.
But like your life is not a sum of huge giant events that just keep happening to you in the span of a week. It's a whole bunch of little things along the way, and that's what this series is. It's a bunch of little things that culminate into one big event.
Yeah.
And so that it's kind of hard to talk about.
So it's kind of hard to talk about,
because if we talked about every little tiny thing that happened as well, we'd be here for like we'd have to just read the book to you, probably.
Right. And that would take 18 hours, and there's already an audiobook for that. And then if you cut out one thing, then it would be weird to like try to pick out what to cut out. So you kind of just have to talk about the big events. But the problem is that in like the first 2 books, the big event is like the first event and the last event. So then you're not talking about the 14 hours in between. Yeah. And you're like, but those 14 hours are good. But like us getting from, one A to B is also us getting from like, it's more like A to Z, and like you see a lot of like A, B, C, you see a lot of the alphabet, but
the alphabet kind of duplicates a few times. Like I think we get into like, how like, we get to A to Z, but then we've got to, double A to double Z. and then triple A to
Yeah.
triple B Z, and then it's a mess.
Yeah, and so that would be a lot, but there are like a lot of but in this book at least there are a lot more like
Yeah,
big events
I think
at
we'll have an
least
easier time with this one.
that we can talk about. But the one thing I wanted to talk about, and this is the only issue I think I have with this book, and that is when, again, spoilers, and that's when his dad and his Jalen's dad and Jalen's brother die in this book.
Yeah, because both of his brothers die in this
Both of his
book,
brothers
but
die.
only one of them die on page.
Yeah, and his dad dies.
Yes.
Um,
So he's an orphaned only child now.
And because of what time we spend with him in the previous two books,
yeah,
I felt bad for him.
Yeah.
But I didn't care. Really?
Yeah,
it felt like it should have hit harder than it did.
I think though the way that it's written does fit with his character, because even by the end he's still very much of the, like with how it ends, he's kind of like not a whole lot different. I mean,
No,
he's very
not.
different. He's very different, but the core essence of his character where it's just like, that's not a pleasant thing to do, so I would rather not.
Yeah.
And so the way that, because we're in his head, I think it's more, he's just like, wow, these feelings are a lot to try and untangle. Let's avoid them.
Mm-hmm.
And so while you're right, I think as well, like we the line that like I snorted coke out my nose when his dad died. It's not my fault. I wasn't like, lol, his dad's dead.
It's what it sounds like, Bae. Bae laughs when dads die.
Yeah, that's what I do.
In real life, too.
Yeah. It's a riot. Because his brother.
Yeah.
His brother comes storming in because he's home at the moment, like when this happens. He's home. Him and his dad, his dad starts to try and make a little bit of amends where he's just like, look, I know after your mum died, I was kind of a dick and I'd like to undick, please, but I'm not well right now. And, and it's making me realize that, his dad's sick and it's making him realize he's been a dick. And Jalen's just like, wow, yeah, I remember when you were good, and I guess I'd probably like a thing too, but this conversation's a bit heavy for me, so I'll come back to you when you're feeling a bit better. And then his dad dies.
Mm-hmm.
And his brother comes bursting through the door, and he's like, "Father's dead!" And Jalen's immediate response is, I don't know if he said it out loud or in his head, because it's first person.
I can check. Hold on.
Thank you. Yeah, but his immediate response is, "Father's not dead. He doesn't do that sort of thing." And I wasn't expecting that. I should have been expecting it because it's Jalen, but I wasn't. And it happened.
It's the kind of thing Jalen says.
Yes. Yeah, I was not expecting it. And then, yeah, so he immediately tries to just deflect and be like, lol, you're hilarious. And then he's like, no, Father's really dead. And he's like, oh, wow. And then he's like sad, but then also like numb, and then all the normal human range of emotions when your semi-estranged father dies, I guess, that you kind of penciled him in to make amends. The amends was penciled into your calendar, and then he died. And then and then after about a paragraph of that, he's just like, let's just not have these feelings now, please. And then so he just Jalen's his way out of it.
Yeah, so his brother comes in and says, father is dead. And he goes, oh, you liar. And then he says, father wasn't dead. He didn't do that sort of thing. And then he just like takes his jacket down and he's like, oh, the day looks like gray and like uninspiring. And his brother's like, Jalen, dad's
For real.
fucking dead, you asshat.
Well, yeah, like for real, he's like, he cocked it.
Yeah, he's like, can you please focus? So
yeah, it's like it is a Jalen way to deal with it. It's just like, lol, you're hilarious.
yeah, he's like, if I don't acknowledge him as dead, then he's not dead. Goodbye.
Yeah, because also I don't know if you read it this way. I'm assuming you would. Not for a second did Jalen think that his brother was lying or trying to make a joke or anything like that.
Well, yeah, no, he didn't think that, but
no,
he just wasn't having any of it.
Yeah, he's just like, I just refuse to acknowledge this information right now.
Yeah, he was just like, nah.
That's future Jalen's problem.
Yeah, exactly. Future me issue. Goodbye. Like,
yeah.
So the actual plot of this book.
Yes, the actual plot. Okay, so where we left off in the last book, I will say for a minute there, I was just like, how did we end up in the desert? I'm like, did I miss something? And then I was like, no, this is probably just how he's written it. So, but how we ended the last book was he got pulled into hell. And then this book, he falls out of the sky and lands in the middle of the Middle East. Or, well, future Middle East.
No, like the Sahara Desert, actually.
Oh, okay.
Is where he is. Well, so he's in North Africa.
Okay.
That's where he is.
Okay. And... oh, sorry, I just remembered the conversation he has with Jorg. We'll discuss that when we get to it. Because Jorg's in this book.
Yes, he is.
And I like how also Mark Lawrence isn't the kind of author that likes to, treat you like you're a toddler.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he lets you work it out. Like, you worked it out before they say that it's Jorg.
Yeah. Like, and honestly, the first time I listened to it, I was really excited because I was like listening to it, and then I forget like at what, because I've read this book a bunch of times now, but like I forget at what point initially I was like, oh my god, that's Jorg. But at some point I was like, oh my god, that's Jorg, and I like freaked out. I was really excited because he's not the kind of person that just does like crossovers like that for no reason.
Yeah.
He doesn't do that for you. He doesn't care. So
he's not the biggest fan servicey author.
No, he's not. So it was just really exciting. So yeah, I freaked out. And then it's like another minute before it's actually like, yeah, this is Jorg Angrath. And and he's like older. He's like 18 at this time.
Yeah, I think that's set between because you know how Broken Empire is like, previous and current, timelines. I think it's set between the two current timelines of the second and third book. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's 20 in the third book.
Yeah.
And 18 in the second.
Yeah.
So it's between them, I believe.
I think so.
I think that's where we are. So he lands in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
And I think we start off with a prologue. And so we are not in Jalen's head. But what's kind of funny is that we're in like this didn't they call him like a sheik? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so and it's kind of like Jalen is Catholic, but 1,000 years post-nuclear apocalypse version of Catholic.
Yep.
This would be like the 1,000 years post-nuclear apocalypse version of Muslim.
Yeah.
So this guy is very, very religious. So we're in this very religious guy's head. And then he just sees like this demon, as he calls it, fall out of the sky. And then, and then Jalen just starts swearing up a storm because he's like, oh my God, fuck, the sand's really hot. And it's funny.
So,
it's a funny way to open the book.
Yeah, because he falls out of the sky and there's a demon lady chasing him or something.
Yeah.
And then Jalen does a Jalen. And then we switch to Jalen.
Yeah, but it's just really funny to watch Jalen act like Jalen, not from Jalen's perspective. It's because a lot of authors do not do a good job of that.
No. Well, I love Rochelle Mead's books, like Vampire Academy, Bloodlines, and stuff. I don't find Rose annoying when, like, Rose is definitely flawed and everything, but I don't find it annoying being in her head because I get the kind of person, like, I understand where everything's coming from and all of this and that. And she's generally, I mean, she's a bit mopey a lot. She's very angsty. She's a teenager, but also she's not, oh my God, I can't stand to be around you. But whenever she shows up in Bloodlines, I'm just like, fuck off, Rose.
Yeah, no, every time she's in Bloodlines, I'm like, I can't, go away, please.
Yeah, no, like the charisma and stuff that her, like, character has and everything just comes off as annoying.
Yeah, like, it's just not there when you're not in her head. And I don't know why that is. But Jalen just feels like Jalen because he's acting and it's great. It's a really funny way to open the book.
Yeah.
And honestly kind of makes you forget that you're not where you're supposed to be leaving the second book.
I'm not gonna lie, it actually, like, it didn't I wasn't immediately like, why the fuck are we in a desert? I was like, I think we're like halfway through the chapter and it keeps referencing, like, hell and everything, and I'm just like, am I supposed to know what he's thinking of?
You're not.
And that's when I was like, have I missed something? Is this audiobook out of format?
It's not.
Yeah.
No, we're just out of order.
Yeah. Because it's Mark Lawrence. And it's what he does.
We did an Empire. Yeah, this is the first time in this series that we are not that we have to, like, go back in the past. And one thing that this book does, which is I think the only time that I will accept present tense as a writing format, is that when you're in present tense, you are in the past.
Yeah.
And when you are writing like a normal person, you're in the now.
Yeah, I think present tense has a time and a place, and this book utilized its time and place in a way that is okay.
Yeah, because sometimes
when a whole book is in present tense, it's like,
it's painful.
Yeah, like I didn't mind it. I didn't mind in Revenants when they switched to present tense because it was because when she became one, it switched to present tense, and that's fine too.
Yeah,
because it's like, I guess, like, all the past tense stuff was, like her. It felt like the way that it was done was, it was like her life flashing before her eyes that she was telling the story, and then and now she's like, and now I'm here, and now I'm doing stuff. Yeah. So that was fine as well, because that was used for a specific effect. The whole book wasn't written like that.
When a whole book is written that way,
I'm looking at you, Alice and Noel, with your freaking Immortals. That I think to date is the one series that has been rage quit and never picked back up. Part of me wants to try, but I don't want to try. No. How many books did we actually do? Did we do 2?
I think we did 2.
I know. I feel like it was 2.
And honestly, I don't know. I would have to reread.
You rage quit. Yeah, you rage quit in book 3.
I think I'd have to reread them.
Luckily, they're short. If you would, we could ask Addie if she would like to join us for it. If we're gonna have to reread the first 2 anyway.
I mean, because honestly, I don't even. Those streams aren't even up here. They're not even on this channel, so It wouldn't.
Because that book was just also
and we have a policy of not DNFing.
we're gonna have to pick them back up.
We are, because we don't DNF.
Yeah, and then if we do that though, do we then also do the sequel series, which is from her dad's sister? It's for
I'm gonna forget we
people.
talked about that. You know what? We'll talk about it later.
Even younger people.
For fuck's sake.
It's even worse. At least there's no, I can't touch you, so go fuck someone else. I still love you.
We didn't discuss this. Moving on.
Back to the Wheel of Osheim.
Yeah, because we have gotten to, here's how the book opens, and that's it. Okay. So
okay.
The book on that, and then basically he, like, all right, this is one of those
He's like,
things.
I am a prince.
He's like, I'm a prince, and then they kind of take him in, sort of, and they eat gross things because different place, and he has hot daughters, and Jalen's like, I want that.
To touch, but
then he's like, I will cut off your balls if you touch, and he's like, and then Jalen,
and then there's a rainstorm. There's a rainstorm, and they kind of
what?
And they're like, let's do fuck, like, you know, and he's like, with all of you, and he's like, and they're like, yes, and they're
all three at the same time.
And then he's like, but and they're like, we're alone in a tent and it's raining, it's fine, and then it stops raining, and it's not good.
And then there's skeletons. We fight skeletons.
Yeah, desert skeletons rock up, and they're like, and he's like, oh fuck, okay, we're back in the real world, and dead people are rising. Yep, okay. So they get to where did they end up?
They end up, I forget where they go first. I'm sorry, I forget where they end up first, because I didn't write down the city names.
Yeah,
because I don't keep up with it.
Yeah, well, they get to a place, and Jalen's like, well, thank you for bringing me to a place, and he's like, no worries, and then he gets given camels.
Yeah, I think it's not the city where he. It's not the city where he meets Jorg.
No. Does he meet Jorg before or after Lisa?
Before.
Okay, so then he travels from that city to another city. Then I can't think of anything overly important happens along that way.
Yeah, he travels from that city to another city. There's a thing with a mathematician that does like the future thingy.
Oh, yeah, it's the same mathematician we met earlier in the series. Yeah, in the first book.
Yeah.
And Jalen's like, tell me stuff, and he's like, but no, and he's like, no, I want to know. I think I want to know. Tell me. I don't like suspense. And he's like, okay, well, I will tell you 3 things. The second sister, 13, and what's the third thing that I can't remember what the third thing was, but there was something. He's being overly vague because he's like, look, if I tell you, it's going to change stuff, etc.
I think it's okay. First, where is it? First stop, second sister, 13. I think.
Yeah, something like that. And he's just like, well, that makes no sense. And the mathematician guy's like, look, that's all I'm telling you. He's like, but who's the second sister? Like, is it, you know, are you talking like my grandmother, or are you talking about, you know, someone I know? Is someone I haven't met? What are we talking about? And mathematician's just like, second sister, dude. That's it. And then he's like, oh, and then he gets shitty. And then is this where he goes to and meets Jorg?
I believe so. Yeah, I think he goes, gets drunk on the roof, and then
And then there's another guy that I loved this conversation as well, because it really highlights just how many similar life events they've had.
Yeah.
But also, though, just how their completely different personalities have, those events have molded them in completely different ways. Because, so, like, yeah, so Jalen's just talking about how he's talking to, like, this hella tall dude with a scarred face that looks kind of familiar. Because he's seen Jorg before. And he's just like, my life's awful. And Jorg's like, mine's not that great. He's like, no, you don't understand. Okay, well, what? My father doesn't love me. Same could be said about my dad. But I'm a prince, as am I. My mother and sister were killed. And he's like, my mother and brother were killed. And Jalen's just like, God damn it. Like he's keeps on trying to one-up Jorg. And I don't think Jorg's, like, taking it as a competition. He's just like, yeah, that's life. Stop bitching. Like, you know.
Okay, no, I found it. I was trying to find it.
Okay.
Sorry. Because because he says I'm a very long way from home, and Jorg is like, me too, and he's like, well, Red March is 1,000 miles south of us, and he's like, well, the Renar Highlands are farther, and then, and then he's like, my path to inheritance is unclear. And then he's like, and then Jalen's like, my father never loved me. And he's like, my own has that reputation too. And then he is like,
and Jalen's even thinking, is he trying to beat me?
Yeah, he is. And then Jalen's like, I was just a boy. I saw him do it. Kill them both, my mother and then Jorg's like, a sibling. I saw my mother and my brother killed. I was young too. And he was like, I couldn't tell if you were mocking me, topping each one of my declarations with his own variant. And then Jalen's like, I still have scars from that day. And he's like, me too. And of course, Jorg's scars are better.
Yes,
they're more impressive.
And then one thing I found kind of amusing is because the thing that Jalen does to, like, in his mind, beat Jorg is, well, my sister's trying to be an unborn and come back and do a thing, and at this point we don't know that the dead king
is literally
is Jorg's dead brother, which again tops the unborn sister thing.
Yeah, it does.
But they don't know that yet.
They don't know that
it's
yet.
Just like
so
like even with his, like, ace up the sleeve,
yeah,
Jorg still has a freaking royal straight. Like, there's nothing. Poor Jalen.
Yeah. And then, of course, once he figures out that it's Jorg, he freaks out. Like, he's just panicking. It's great because he's like, oh my god, that's Jorg Ancraft. I'm gonna die. He's gonna kill me. He's gonna skewer me. Oh my god. Like, he's just freaking the fuck out.
Yeah, but then Jorg passes out or something.
And then Jalen's standing there thinking, like, I could kill him.
But instead,
he's like, I could do it.
Yeah.
He's like, I could save so many people a lot of trouble and just end it.
Good thing he didn't.
He didn't.
Spoiler alert for a different series we've already reviewed. Jorg doesn't die there.
Yeah. That's not where Jorg dies.
Yeah, so instead he just covers him with a blanket and leaves. Which is nice. It's like, look, I could kill him, but if I'm going to leave him alive, I don't want him to get a cold.
What does it cut to kill?
Because that's just mean. So
also,
have a blanket.
To address, I think, to simplify things. So, the reason why we started in the desert is because we're doing, like, the hell stuff concurrently. Them going through, like, all the Deadlands.
Yeah, we get some hell flashbacks. So,
and okay, this is again one of the issues with reviewing these books on the way that we do it on book club. The hell flashbacks are interesting. They totally are. They're hard to talk about because I can't really think of anything. Like, there's a part where like they go through like a river and it's cool, and like there's other stuff that happens that is interesting, but nothing crazy.
No, like one of the things that was cool about Hell was it was like, because they get there and Jalen's like, because Snorri, we do get confirmation Snorri's the one that pulled him through.
Yes, Snorri did pull him through because Snorri's like, you forgot to like come through, you silly goose. And Jalen's like, oh, did I forget?
The breeze must have blown the door shut, and I thought you got stuck, so I thought I'd help you.
Yeah, he's like, you didn't. Yeah, he's like, what the heck? And Jalen's like, oh, thanks.
Yeah, and then Snorri's like, oh, well, yeah, and because Jalen also lifted the key off of Kara.
Yeah.
And we know that it's cursed. Like, something bad happens when you steal it. So I guess that this is, if he hadn't have stolen the key, Snorri would have probably just gone, oh, I guess he changed his mind and kept going. But because he stole the key, Snorri's like, oh, the door's shut. I better help him.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. And
so he gets to go to hell.
Yeah. So Snorri's like, we should just guard the door until we'll give it a minute before we leave so Kara can lock the door. And Jalen's like, oh, fuck, I have the key. I have it. Shit. Look, Snorri, an obvious distraction. And then while Snorri looks at the obvious distraction, he locks the key.
Yeah.
Locks the door. And then Jalen's like, this doesn't quite look how I thought hell would look. And he's like, because hell is shaped by the individual and we're in my hell, not yours. And he's like, oh, okay then. Because there's no one around. It's just quiet. There's not a thing. And
we do get to see a more Christian-esque hell.
Yes, because we end up, because I guess on their quest it slowly morphs into Jalen's hell.
Yeah.
I guess, and
which is less pleasant because Snorri's hell's not on fire and Jalen's hell is.
Yes.
So Snorri Snorri at one point is like, "Can you please stop that? Can you unbelieve whatever it is you believe because this is some horse shit, and I would like to not be on fire right now." And Jalen's like, I don't
sorry.
know. He's like, I'm sorry. I'm a Christian. I don't know what to do. And Snorri's like, this is
I'm sorry I'm not a heathen like you.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not a heathen. He's like, nah.
Well, can you just pretend to be a heathen, please?
Yeah. He's like, please become convert right now.
Yes, but then
and we need AC.
Yeah, but I think they end up just talking about different mythology versions of hell, and it slowly morphs into each of those.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, let's just chat about the river Styx. Then we'll get a river. It's fine.
Yeah,
because I know river
Styx
did get brought up. I know that.
Yeah, because what kind of happened was, Snorri asked Jalen to describe his version of hell, and he did, and then that's what happened. So they were like, let's chat about something else, and goodbye, and it kind of fixed it.
Yeah.
But it's what I think what you're supposed to get out of it is that hell is what you make it.
Yeah. I guess.
Hell is a simulation. What did I say? I didn't say a simulation.
I didn't hear an N in there.
Peanut galleries.
Oh, the peanut gallery is wrong. Go back to playing your Jurassic Park game. Animal Crossing.
And we learn, though, throughout the course of the book that the thing chasing him when he fell from the sky was his dead sister.
Yes.
Because she's like, I must kill you in hell to... Because if she could kill him there, then he would do it. And then she could... And...
Yeah.
Unborn.
Yeah.
So, but he got away and fell into the desert. So, now, So we've done the loop. Snorri's
Also,
still there.
at the end, you know, Jalen's like, hey, Snorri, come with me. And Snorri's like, I have to go finish my quest.
Yeah,
And
he comes
Jalen's
back
like,
later. It's fine. He comes
yeah.
back.
But Jalen's just like, ah. But one thing that I love about this book is that they actually do spend time apart.
And well, they spent time apart last book too, but this one it felt better.
It did feel better because it does like a lot of good things happen for Jalen while they're apart. Like you see Jorg, and then like the big battle at Red March happens, and during that,
and the almost amends with his dad and stuff like that.
Yeah, like a lot of good stuff. And there's also another thing we'll talk about in a second, but like a lot of good stuff happens where like Mary's Alice. We deal with him while Snorri's gone, and
Lisa.
that's one of the best parts of the book.
Oh, I liked that one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right as well, because he was also bitching to Jorg about, you know, all the people that have done wrong by him, etc., etc. And because he was rolling drunk, he couldn't remember Jorg's advice on how to deal with that kind of situation until the time comes, and then he remembers. And
so he deals with the situation, and it's freaking badass, and it's amazing.
It is.
It is really amazing.
Because this is the guy that he owed all of the like a shit ton of money to at the beginning of the series, who he sold Snorri to.
And what he does is he pays him off and then kills him.
Yeah.
And then takes all his money.
Yeah, he's like, here's some money.
Well, he takes all the money back, and then takes all the money that Mary's Alice has left.
But if you're going to kill him, why pay him off? Just kill him.
To get his guard down and to get all his guards to go away.
Because
it's a good book. Leave me alone.
That's fair. No, that's
the legit reasoning is in the book as well.
Yeah, the legit reasoning in the book makes sense, but it's just the way it happens is freaking badass, and also because because of the internal dialogue happening, you don't actually know what's going to happen, and it's great.
Yeah, because the only warning we get is as he's handing over the money is Jorg's words come back to him, and it's give him what you want and then take what you want. Oh, sorry, give him what he wants and then take what you want. And because a man's guard is never down better than when he's just feels like he's won. Yeah. So
it's great.
I was like, it's so good.
It's so good. And so okay, so yeah, I guess now we're just
But we're not there yet.
Okay, well yeah, I'm like, I don't know where we are.
Yeah, so
but I think like point being them actually being apart right now because like you know that it's not because Jalen's being a brat.
Well, also a lot of his growth throughout the book or series has been incredibly reluctant, you know, very reluctant growth. And I think a lot of this is to show us, because also even in the last book when Snorri wasn't there, when he still did a couple of things, it was more for, you know, well, Snorri would kill me if blah happened, and then what's the kid's name again?
Hennon,
you know, or Hennon was there, and Hennon like idolizes Jalen and stuff, and he's like, oh fuck, type thing. Whereas in this, it's just him, and he's like, and we're still seeing that there is like he is still doing stuff that beginning of series Jalen just would have never.
Right, he would have never done that, and so you actually get to see like the growth that you know has happened rather than,
especially because he's still having the thoughts. He's just like, but I don't want to, but I guess I should, but I don't want to. No, I refuse. Why are my feet walking this way?
Yeah,
what am I doing?
He's like, my body is not listening to me, and now I'm saving the world. Fuck.
So
this is my favorite version of the Chosen One trope. I adore this. I adore it so much. I adore the bad Chosen One. Yeah, I adore backup Chosen One.
Yeah, I was looking at because I was organizing my book collection the other day, and I was sorting out all the genre information, and I was just like, what genre of fantasy would this specific book go into type thing, and I just googled different genres of fantasy. This one would fall under, I mean, obviously books have multiple genres, but one thing I think it's grimdark fantasy.
Yeah, it's grimdark fantasy.
And it's just like, the quintessential anti-hero, like both in any form is grimdark. And so if you're into grimdark fantasy, this is a series you should check out.
It's really
because
great.
his whole the whole thing, this entire series is, but you're the chosen one, and his response is, but I don't wanna. You can't make me, and then someone makes him.
Yeah, and it's a much more endearing way to have a chosen one, I feel like.
Well, because a lot of the chosen ones have their moments where I don't want to, but it's more like it feels more like an angsty teenager, I guess.
Right. Whereas his personality is just like, but fucking what me?
I could be drinking wine right now.
Well, and he's like number one, I could be drinking wine. Number two, I'm not qualified for this. And they're like, we know, but the other one died. You're the backup. You're the backup chosen one. You're the only one. And he's like, no one else. And they're like, no one else. Sorry.
We searched high and low. We tried.
They're like,
we tried.
Yeah, they're like, we don't want you either.
It's kind of like what Harry Potter would be if Voldemort had tried to kill Neville instead of Harry.
Yeah.
I feel like Jalen is Neville as the chosen one.
Yeah, kind of.
With more resources.
Yeah. And it's great. It makes for a great story.
But, God, can you imagine if you read a book where the chosen one's name was Neville Longbottom? Can you imagine?
Honestly, I think it would have made for a better book.
Excuse you.
Sorry.
Leave.
What
kind of a name is that?
I don't know, why. It's in the same category.
Longbottom.
It's in the same vein as Smallwood. Smallwood and Longbottom go together.
Can you imagine? Okay. Imagine if a chick and a man with those last names married and decided to hyphenate, so their kids' last names would be Smallwood Longbottom.
Oh yeah, no, that would. Because then if you're if you're born like that, then you can be like, well, I'll marry out, and then you're like, oh fuck, getting married doesn't fix it.
No, because for some reason, why I would, if as soon as I was 18, I don't care about family pride at that point. I would be changing my name.
Yeah, same.
Especially if I was a boy, because I don't even have the marriage option.
No, you don't
change it. No.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Anyway, back to book, I guess.
Okay. So I guess the next thing that happens
is he thinks he sees someone he recognizes. Who does he think he sees?
I don't remember.
Is it Lisa's husband or someone else?
Oh, yeah, it is Lisa's husband.
Yeah, he thinks he sees Lisa's husband. Lisa is the chick that he was with at the beginning of, in the opening scene of the series.
Lisa is basically who he's, in love with, sort of.
I kind of don't know why. I don't like her.
He wants her snatch. I'll say that. He wants her snatch really bad.
I would say he's in love with her.
I think that's
he's been pining over. Yeah,
I think that's what you're supposed to take away from her.
We
don't get much time with her.
No,
but every time he thinks about Famali, it's always Lisa. So
yeah. So she's the one who he's screwed her and both of her sisters as well. one of her sisters is married to his brother.
He has a
The
thing
other
for
one-
sets of 3 sisters, doesn't he?
The other one, I don't know if she'd be. I'm guessing she's married now, but the other one in the last book was betrothed to. I can't even say that word right now. Betrothed to the count.
Yes.
Who he whacked over the head with a stick last book.
Yes.
Because he was like, "You defiled my betrothed, my innocent, my beautiful," and
Jalen's thinking to himself, like, not exactly innocent, but okay.
Yeah, like in Jalen's head, he's thinking, I don't even think she was a virgin when I met her.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like, technically I didn't defile, but okay.
Yeah, no, I just continued.
Yeah, he's like, no, she came to me pre-defiled.
Yes. Her flower was long gone by then. Anyway. Yeah, so Lisa is married to his childhood best friend.
Yes.
And he thinks he sees his childhood best friend, and he's like, why is he walking to a brothel? That's weird. And so he's trying to chase him, and then he's like, excuse me, mistress of the brothel, that man, what did he want? And she's like, well, none of your business. And he's like, I pay you money. So he paid her money. And she's like, oh, he was asking about some chick named Lisa. I don't know. And he's like, oh, no, my Lisa. So then he's like, well, where can I find Lisa? And he's like, gets information of where do I find the sex slaves? And they're like, oh, at the 13th market. And he's like, 13? God damn it.
Yep.
So then he goes for his walk. He's pulling his 3 camels behind him. And apparently they projectile shit all over him along the way.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets there, and then we immediately cut to after he's already gotten Lisa, and she's screaming at him and hitting him and stuff because he bought her for 3 camels. He didn't tell her that he only bought her for 2, that the other camel was for something else. But she was very offended that he traded camels for her. And
apparently she thinks she's worth more than 3 camels. And that was her issue with the situation.
Yeah, so she got captured. Her and hubby went to a place, and then she went to go home, and he couldn't go home yet. So he's like, you go along with your maids, and then pirates kidnap them. She didn't get rape-a-doodled because she was too busy spewing out of both ends from seasickness. Not my phrasing. Well, okay, that phrasing itself might have been mine, but the sentiment, no, we were told this, okay?
Yeah, we were told this.
Yes. From seasickness, so only her maids got violently raped over and over again, and she wasn't a very good whore in training, so they were happy to be rid of her.
Which is why they only required 2 camels to get rid of her.
Yes,
because she wasn't good at being a whore.
Yep. And so then he's like, well, we're gonna go. I'm gonna take you home, and she's like, I don't want to go by sea, and he's like, well, we're on a fucking island. So
yeah, he's like, we're going by sea, bitch.
Like, and we don't have a choice.
And then
like,
she's
do you
really
want to
pissed.
swim home? Yes. Honestly, she spends this entire book being like such a bitch, and I'm just like, why do you like her?
Yeah, she's just angry that she got rescued, and it's weird.
Yeah, like at least the chick that Jorg was in love with, Catherine. She had redeeming qualities, and when she started being a bitch to him, understand why. She thought he raped her.
Yeah.
He didn't, but she thought he did. And you can understand why. The situation, she was raped, but she was unconscious at the time, and he was the last person she had seen.
And also, like, she was raped, but not by him.
He was the one that knocked her unconscious, though.
But he was the one that knocked her unconscious, but it was a complicated situation, okay?
Yeah, and now she's barren. So, like, you can understand why she isn't the biggest fan of him.
Yeah.
And, like, you get it. You understand it. And she had, there was quality, like, there was something intriguing about her. Like, you can see why he would be intrigued by her.
Yeah.
Etc. Lisa, I don't understand.
I know, yeah. Like,
she's not likable.
The first time I read this, I was kind of excited to actually get to spend like some time with her because I was like, oh, good. And then I was like, oh, okay. I'm grateful
just like,
for.
I mean, I'm kind of at a loss though, because like I'm very fond of Jalen,
Yeah.
you know, but I don't think he deserves any better than her either. Like, I know he saved the world, but how, like, he didn't want to. He didn't go out on a limb to do it. He was forced to do it.
Yeah.
And because so I'm just like, I don't know if he deserves better than I want better for him. I want better for him, but I don't think he deserves better.
I think what's honestly interesting is that it works, even though I don't like her.
Yeah.
Like, I think it works. Because also it's not implied that they're not married at the end of it or anything like that.
No.
He's just sleeping with her.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the book kind of ends how the series starts.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Kind of.
He's kind of come full circle.
Yeah, we've come full circle.
But yeah, so they go back to what's the name of their city?
Red March.
I thought that was the name of their area. The city starts with a V.
Vermilion, sorry.
Vermilion, yeah. So they go back to Vermilion. He's like, here you go, best friend. Here is the love of my life, aka your wife. How dare you let her travel alone, like in his head, because he's not a confrontational person. He doesn't confront. And then I guess he goes to do all of his I'm back agains.
Yeah.
So he goes to go and do all that. He's Lisa's sister, who is married to his brother, now has a baby named after their mother. And Jalen doesn't quite know how to feel about it because he sees the baby. I don't know if he holds it, but he at least sees it. And he's like, wow, I'm actually getting like a warm and fuzzy feeling, and this is weird.
Yeah, he gets the warm and
fuzzies.
fuzzies.
Keep that spawn away from
Yeah,
keep the spawn away from me.
He gets the warm and fuzzies over his niece, and he's like, get it out. No. He's like, none of that. And it's great.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
I did too. Because he was like, I'm melting. And it was wonderful.
He gives the key to his to the Queen's brother, his uncle or great uncle, whatever, the one who is twinned to the Silent Sister, all that stuff. He gives him the key, and then he goes to see his grandmother. And he's like, hello, grandmother. And she's like, hello. And she's like, where have you been? And he's like, hell, literally. But you'll be pleased to know I got the key back. Because she was mad at him last book because he gave the key to Snorri.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, goody, where is it? And he goes, oh, well, I gave it to your brother, didn't I? She's like, why would you do such a thing? And he's like, why wouldn't I? Don't you think he deserves to have the key? And she's like, what do you mean? She's like, well, you took his throne. She took his, like, ability to function as a human being. So, he's got the key. He can give it to you if he wants to, but you can't take it because it's cursed as fuck. So, fuck you. And he kind of just like, okay, it was the equivalent, it was the verbal equivalent of him flipping her off and mooning her.
Yeah, basically. And it was pretty great. But then also she doesn't get that mad about it. Like,
well, her revenge is kind of funny.
It is. It's very funny.
Because then he gets told the next day or something. He sees his uncle and he's like, hello, uncle. And he's like, oh, your queen's gone off to do a war against the Lady Blue thing. I am the steward until her return, meaning he's the acting king, I guess. And she made you in charge of she made you the marshal of the city. So you're in charge of the defense now. And he's like, but I don't want to.
Yeah, he's like, wait, what? I have to do
I
things?
have responsibility now.
Yeah, because basically, the Red Queen is like, oh, you want to decide what happens in, okay, all right, great. You want responsibility?
Here you go.
Okay.
Oh, wait, before that is when he goes and one of the first things he does when he gets back, we forgot about this, after he gives Lisa back to her husband, is he goes to like the, I guess, investment banker, like an investment banker. And he's like, and the guy's like, no one's going to give you credit. He's like, I don't want credit. You know that salt mine that I found, that I bought last book, and that I found was like, effectively a gold mine, but in salt. I want to sell you my shares. It's worth 100,000. And he's like, I'll give you 10. And he's like, you'll give me 5 and you'll let me buy it back for 10 in a month. And he's like, done. So he gets his 5,000 golds, and then he's like, Maris Alice, I have debt repayment. And he's like, okay. And then he's like, here you go. And he's like, chortles, and then he does a stabby stab and then takes it all back.
We do the Mary's Alice thing, and then we do all of this. So
yes.
So after sorry.
Yeah, and his brother that he was trying to avoid last book, he's like, you can't be mad at me now. I'm debt free, bro. Like, you can't be mad. No one's coming to chase you for my debts now. It's fine. So then we do that.
And then Dad dies before all the stuff happens.
Yeah, so someone's like, your father's unwell. And he's like, I guess I should go see him then. So he goes to see Dad. Dad's sicky. And Dad's like, I'm soz. And he's like, okay, I don't know how to feel about this. So we'll pencil in lunch, We'll do lunch. It's fine. Bye. And then Dad's dead. And then there's the funeral.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it all happens the day of the funeral, I think.
Yes, it does.
Dad has his funeral.
And then all hell breaks, because now that we've taken care of that in true bookish fashion, as soon as we've taken care of all the emotional stuff, all hell breaks loose.
Yes.
And we've tied up those loose ends. Now we can get down to business.
Yeah, now zombies can attack.
Yes, now that we have dealt with emotional abuse and unpacked all of that, now we can do things.
Yep. Yes. So, I think they're on their way back to wherever.
Yeah.
And the dead army start attacking, and people start raising from their graves. Oh, that's right, because they're also they're going around and burning all the dead. In the meantime, they've already been burning dead people.
Yes.
Because they don't want them.
Because also, and I think Jalen ordered them to do that, if I'm not mistaken.
I think they were on their way to go and do the last, some more, and they in the that random house.
Yes.
So they're in a house at this point because they've gone out to a village or something to burn dead, and they're in a house, and some guy's there that no one can remember seeing him as soon as you take your eyes off of him.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what his purpose was.
I think he was just commanding this part of the thing.
Yeah, I think it was you got to do a thing, and he's like, okay. And then on the way back, Dad start attacking or something. Yeah.
I think that's what it was.
And I think the uncle's with him.
Mm-hmm.
The uncle's with him. Yep. So they're on their way back. Dad start attacking. They're like, well, fuck. And then they manage to do some fighting off, and they get back, they're in the city walls, and they're trying to stop them from breaking into the city.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a big battle happens. He's lost sight of best friend at this point, and then his brother dies.
So the specifics. Let me just. Sorry.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what order everything happens with the battle.
Here's the thing. Okay, this battle has to be no less than 30,000 words.
Oh, it's chapters. It is multiple
battle
chapters.
Is in and of itself a novella. So us going beat by beat what happens in this battle is completely unrealistic. It's just not going to happen. The battle is big. It's really
It was
cool.
engaging. Like, it was, while we, like, in saying that it was that long, it was engaging the whole time. Like, you weren't just sitting there going, when's this battle going to be over?
Yeah, and it was like really a huge battle. So there are like waves and like pauses and breaks and stuff like that, because it was written like it was an actual battle. It wasn't just like a fight scene. It was an actual battle.
Yeah.
So
it's like
and they're
it's like
fighting
how,
off like a dead army sieging the city is what they're doing.
So actually, also in terms of fighting off a dead army, it's a bit like in the 3rd episode of season 8 of Game of Thrones, where the battle at Winterfell happens, where the entire episode is a battle, but it's not all. The whole episode isn't swords clashing or whatever. It, like, there's beats. It's taken, the tone changes because, you know, Jalen's removed himself from the front line for some of it, stuff like that. So it, while it's really long, it doesn't get old, because as soon as what is currently happening starts, like, would be approaching getting old, the tone changes, Jalen changes locations, etc.
Right. Because and Jalen has the freedom to do that because he's basically in charge of what's happening, albeit reluctantly, but he does a good job.
Yes.
And good for him. But it's also really funny because his brother's reaction to it is hilarious, because Jalen's like, "Oh, by the way, me in charge," and they're like, "Bitch, what?" Excuse you? And he's like, "Excuse you, indeed. I'm in charge."
Yep.
And they're like,
I am the marshal. You
like,
shall do as I say.
Yeah, he's like, "You have to do everything I say," and they're like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me." And he's like, "I'm not kidding," and they're
he's also just like, also, I'm the only one that's dealt with these fuckers before.
Yeah,
I know what's what.
and also the Red Queen knows this, which is why he's in charge.
Yes,
and because
but
she's
also,
like,
but also we all know she had a chuckle because she's like, "Have some responsibility, you fucker."
Yeah, she's like, "I'm gonna make you responsible." Yeah, and it's great though. But also it's one of those moments where you kind of realize that even though she acts the most indifferent towards him in the first book,
yeah,
she actually likes him.
Yeah.
And that's how you know she likes you, is if she gives you things to do. So because she's given him like the most important job, you're like, aw, in her weird bitchy way, she's proud of him. Like most grandmothers bake you cookies, she almost
doesn't
has you die. Like it's
multiple
sweet.
times.
She
sends you off to die repeatedly.
She sends you off to die repeatedly. It's good for her because she thinks you won't. So in a way, it's nice. I don't know, but
she her version of love is not our version of love. How she shows it.
And how she shows it's odd, but it's
but in her own way.
In her own way, because the fact that she is sending him off on all these death quests, it's like, well, but she loves you, that's why she's doing it. She doesn't think your siblings or your cousins will survive, so
yeah.
And she gave you a Viking.
Yep, she gave you a Viking.
Gave you a pet Viking, so that was nice of her.
That was very nice. I want a pet Viking.
I know, right? When you love a Viking bodyguard.
So yeah, I can't.
So a lot happens.
His brother dies.
We lose 2 brothers. We don't lose a best friend.
Yeah.
We have to save our sister-in-law and the baby at one point. There's a Lichkin, which we have to basically fight like one-on-one, where like dumping hot oil and stuff on like a dead army. I mean, a lot of stuff.
Yeah, well, the brother that we see die on page, his death.
It's not.
Was kind of a bit of a key to the oil bit.
Yeah.
Because he had. Yeah, because he had oil or something, and he was like, they don't like it.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, the oil is important. And so then they used oil.
Yeah. And it worked.
Yeah, so the brother that we see die on page, he's the one who has the daughter.
Flesh doesn't just burn. It has to be... Flesh does not work as fuel for fire. It has to...
It's magical flesh.
It's magical flesh.
It's fine.
Reanimating flesh does not change its chemical properties.
It's magical flesh.
Are you sure?
That's how I write it. I also make magical fire do things it shouldn't do. You know what? No, just let the book be good.
No.
The oil works as fuel, just so you know.
Yeah,
and they used oil too.
That's what they used it for.
But
what? But what?
How does that kill undead?
Because the fire is burning them.
If
and
you
they still
burn
have
them,
clothes.
they're dead.
A lot of them also still have clothes, which
Yeah.
also works as fuel.
And a lot of them also still have clothes on, which also worked as fuel. What?
Fire doesn't kill the undead. It doesn't kill zombies.
It does, though.
It destroys their bodies.
So is it like burning them to cinders?
Yes. What?
I just have confidence.
You don't like be burned all the way to a crisp. Like I don't.
They can, but like.
Well, okay, then they are. All right, bye. Moving on.
He should not read any fantasy books.
I know, he shouldn't read fantasy books. That's why you don't read fiction. Because you can't enjoy yourself.
Just tell him to suspend disbelief for a minute.
Yeah, can you just suspend disbelief for a minute and imagine that they all burned all the way through? Why? You watch Marvel movies. Do you understand that?
Yes. But at least the stuff in Marvel makes sense.
Yes, the Hulk makes sense.
Yeah, right? Like,
what?
The Hulk makes sense.
Yes.
No, like,
no, it doesn't.
No, it you know.
If you knew comic book Hulk.
Oh, go back to your silly game.
How dare you?
The Hulk is one of the ones that make absolutely no sense. A lot of them can make sense, right? The Hulk doesn't. I'm sorry, it just doesn't.
I agree. Okay,
but
eventually the battle does end.
Yeah. In the middle of the battle as well, there was a coup.
In the middle of the battle, hold on. Wait, I'm not done. In the middle of the battle, as we're trying to save our sister-in-law and the baby, we're in a bind.
Who was with her,
and then like things start cracking, and I was like driving the first time I was listening to this part of the book. And I was like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And so I'm like alone in my car. And then Snorri yeets out of hell. And I was like, oh my God, Snorri. I was so excited.
Yes. He comes back.
He comes back. And it's actually really exciting because Jalen's excited. You're excited. And it's really, like, it's a good reunion because you've earned it. And it's really fun.
Yeah.
It was a good reunion.
Yeah. But before he comes back, he's off to try and find Lisa and his now dead brother's wife, who was Lisa's sister, and his niece. And he's like, I think they'll be in the middle of the, like, in the safest part of the palace, effectively.
Yeah.
Or castle, whatever. He's like, they're going to be in there because that makes the most sense. And he's on his way there, and someone's like, ahoy there, and what are you doing? And so then they arrest him, and he's like, but I'm the marshal.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we'll see about that. And he's like, but I'm a prince and I'm a marshal and I'm a thing. And how dare you, sir? And they're like, well, no. And then so he's like, I want to see my uncle. And they're like, oh, and lolled at him. And he's like, why are they lolling? And they don't tell him. And then he's walking along and then he bumped in. They give him to his cousin. And the cousin has a speech impediment. I just enjoyed the speech impediment. It's one of the ones where It's one of the ones where he pronounces his R's as W's.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, great uncle Blah isn't in charge anymore. My daddy is, and so he takes him into daddy,
Yep.
who is sitting on the throne wearing the crown, and Jalen's like, what the fuck do you think you're doing?
Yeah.
A battle of dead people are like an army of dead people are attacking. We're busy.
Yeah, and then he's also like, moreover, grandma's not dead. Your mother is not dead. And secondly, when she finds out about this, she's going to cut your head off. And he's like, she's going to die. She's going to die. And he's like, she ain't dead yet.
Yep. And then he's like, well, also, I got the golden ticket. Oh, he's like, how did you get the crown? And he's like, you tell me how I got the crown. And Jalen's like, you have the key, don't you? He's like, well, yes, I do have the key. And he's like, you shouldn't have done that. It's cursed as fuck. And because yeah, he went and robbed a cripple.
Yeah. Bad move.
Yeah.
Bad move.
I mean, even if the key isn't cursed, because like, you know, you can't steal the key. It has to be given freely. You don't rob a cripple.
It's rude.
It's rude.
It is rude.
But
he robbed a cripple. So
yep, and then because Jalen laughed at him for being so stupid, he gets thrown into a prison cell, and then I can't remember what happens. How he gets out.
He gets out though.
Yeah, he gets out, and then Wild Snorri appears.
And then Snorri appears, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, and then there's the Lichkin, and he's like, I have your dad's cardinal thingy.
Yeah,
his pendant. I don't know. His cardinals get a little pendant thingy.
Yeah.
A seal, and yeah, he broke it, and then next thing we know, Jalen's on his back, waking up from being unconscious. He's like, "What happened?" And they're like, "Well, a bit of him's there, a bit of him's there. There was an explosion." And he's like, "Well, I guess defiling the thingy made a thingy, and then boom." And they're like, "I guess."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, cool. Okay, so we got Snorri, we got Lisa, we got sister-in-law, we got baby, we got Jalen, all in the same place now. They're fine." His cousin Sarah is off leading, like she's in charge of one of the front lines, etc. She did a great job.
Yeah, she did.
Yep.
Told you to put a pin in her for a reason.
Yep. Yep. And the uncle who did a coup lost the coup, and Grandmama's back. Is she back? No, she's not back.
No, she's not back yet.
No, but he lost the coup. I can't remember how he lost the coup.
But she does get back, and she's not happy with him.
Yeah. How does it... Yeah, oh, that's right, because Uncle is Stuart again. Like, okay, Queen's brother uncle is Stuart again.
Yeah.
Not Queen's son uncle. So I can't remember how he got unkinged, though, because he named himself not just Stuart, but King. And he gets unkinged.
I forget what happens. But either way, it happens.
Yeah, by the end of the battle, he's not king anymore. So he's in big trouble. He's in deep doo-doo. And Uncle is like, well, Jalen, you did a brilliant job. You're like, you know, your all of your info was on point. Your tactics were, you know. And he's just like, what happened? And he's like, oh, because when his brother that died on Page died, he saw something trying to claw out of him, and he realized, fuck, sister, my little dead evil baby sister is trying to use his death
because because Jalen doesn't have to be the one who dies. You have two siblings.
A close familial tie. Yeah, just a close familial tie.
Yeah.
And Jalen managed to stop that from happening. And he's like, where's my other brother? And they're like, well, we're going to wait till later, but I guess we'll tell you now. He died well. And then something really bad happened, and it was creepy. And he's like, oh, because the dead all retreat as well. And they're like, well, why would they have retreated? And that's when Jalen's like, fuck, my other brother, my sister was born. And he gets his confirmation. Because there was 2 things that the dead king would have been happy achieving in the battle. 1, getting the key, which he didn't get, and 2, birthing the most powerful unborn to have ever existed.
Which he did get that.
He did get that. So it was kind of like a draw, the battle.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, this ain't good. And then does the uncle send him off, or does the queen send him off?
The queen sends him off.
Okay, so I guess she gets back then?
Yeah, she gets back.
Yeah, she gets back. And she's like, yeah, well job not killing the city.
Yeah, because the queen gets back to pat him on the head, and then because he gets to be mystic with her again.
Yeah. And then, yeah, she's like, okay, well, the goal is now to take the key to the middle of the wheel and do a turny-offy thing. And he's like...
And of course, Jalen's like, no!
And Snorri's like, yes, I'm in. I'm so in. I'm so there. It's insane. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
Jalen's like, shut up, Snorri.
Yeah. Snorri's like, let's go. And Jalen's like, no, stop. Come on, man.
Yep.
Because Jalen's like, but I just did the heroic. I'm heroic,
yeah. And
right?
Uncle's given Jalen back the key. So
yeah.
Jalen has the key. And the queen's like, but look, there'll be 1 of 2 outcomes with you going there. And Jalen's like, no one ever comes back from the middle of the thing, of the wheel. And she's like, well, that makes it the safest place to hide the key then. And he's like, but what about me?
Yeah, he's like, what about me? And she's like, bitch.
And she's like, look, 1 of 2 things will happen. 1, you can either, like, you can stop the wheel from turning or whatever, and then you'll be able to come back, because the things that'll stop you from coming back won't be a thing anymore. So you can come back. It's fine. And if that doesn't pan out, at least you can hide the key there. So it's like kind of like a win-win.
And he's like, no, it's not. Except, like, in option 2, I'm dead. And she's like,
yeah, and
that has to be a risk you're willing to take. And he's like, no.
And then he does, though.
Yeah.
Very reluctantly.
Very reluctantly.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, so because she literally was like, yeah, well, you're the chosen one. And he's like, ugh.
I guess. And he's like, but I already did a thing. And she's like, well, how did you win the battle? You know what you're doing. No one else knows what they're doing, just you.
Yeah, because he tries to pull, like, I'm not qualified. And she's like, no, there's anybody else. Go.
It's like,
get out of here.
So they're riding, like Snorri and Jalen are riding along. They're doing a trotty trot down the road with a couple horses behind them, I guess, like with their stuff. Because Jalen's also like, can I please have an army? And she's like, the army's needed here. Just so you know.
Yeah, she's like, no, get out. Yeah,
so
like, you're on your own with your pet Viking. Get out.
Yeah.
Go save the world. Yeet, go. Out of the courtroom. Goodbye.
Yeah. So then they're going along the road and they run into the Count.
Yes.
And he's like, well, fuck. But with the Count is also Hannon and Kara.
Yeah.
Who we haven't seen since the end of the last book. So it was nice to see them. And they're like, aha, 'tis you. And he's like, oh, god damn it, Mr. Count. The Count is really short. He's really, 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 really short.
Mm-hmm. He is.
I don't know how short, but he's very, very short. The Count is the one who is married to Lisa's other sister.
Yes.
Yes. And the Count's like, they told me where to find you, and Jalen's just like, Kara, how could you? But then he pulls out this tiny little speck of gold, and he's like, do you know what this is? And he's like, how the fuck would I know what? I don't know. And he's like, one of the splinters from the tree you lopped over my head. I saved it and covered it in gold so I could show it to you. I don't know. It feels like something that that a midget with a complex would do.
Yeah, it does. But that's what he did.
Yep, he's like, it's time to do our duel now, and John's like, I'm busy. I'm doing shit for the queen.
He's like,
I'm busy.
I'm literally doing chosen one things. I don't have time to duel him.
And he's like, well, you're not going until we do a duel. And he's like, fine, I get to choose the weapons. And he's like, and the guy's like, well, no, we're not doing axes and shit. It will be swords. And he's like, no, fisticuffs.
Yeah.
And he's like, wait, you want us to do a, and he's
Yeah.
like, yeah. And he's like, that's so common. And Jalen's just like, the queen had us all trained in fisticuffs because she finds it noble. So how dare you? And he's like, fine, I guess. And Jalen's just like, I don't want to fight this tiny little man. Like, Jalen was like low-key hoping that he would go, well, you're like 2 feet taller than me.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
he was
do
hoping
this.
that like saying fisticuffs would make it like, you know what? Another day then.
But instead, the Count's actually freaking brilliant at it.
Yeah, the Count's really good
Like,
at fisticuffs.
he blocks all of Jalen's punches
He
and
does.
manages to like he knocks him down to the ground and he's like doing his little like prancy dance over him. And then Jalen's like, well, fuck this, and somehow manages to get back up, and he ends up just picking him up over his head.
Yeah,
he's
he
just
does.
holding him up in the air. And like he's just like, let me down. And he's like, no, do you yield? And he's like, it's to the death, motherfucker. And he's like, not if you yield and I accept your yield.
Yeah.
And he's like, I will not yield. And he's like, if you do not yield, I will put you over my knee and spank you in front of all of your men. And then he's like, fine, I yield.
It's a great part of the book. I enjoy it.
I just loved that Jalen got beat up by a guy that's like 2 feet shorter than him, but then managed to get the upper hand and then spanked.
Yeah, but then managed to hold him above his head and then was like, if you do not yield, I will spank you, and that will be the end of that.
So, because Jalen's also like, look, because before he did the spanky threat, he was like, look, I don't want to leave another Devere sister widowed, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
I don't want to kill you. Like, I'd rather us just like part as like, you know, they're not going to kill each other peoples.
Yeah.
You know, we won't be buds, but we won't kill each other. But he didn't, so then he threatened to spank him.
But it was great.
So, yep. So now they're like, okay, well, Kara, Hennon, heathens, you shall be released because you have done what you said you would do. And then Kara and Hennon are like, where he's going? Oh, well, Kara's also pissed off. She slaps him and shit, and she's like, how dare you freaking... Oh, because also Lisa has also slapped the shit out of Jalen before they left because he let her sister's husband, aka his brother, die, and B, he intentionally lost track of her husband / his best friend in the battle to get back in her pants.
Which Lisa's a
did
dumbass.
he die? Did he actually die?
No, he didn't. I don't think so.
Oh, okay. I don't think it's confirmed either way.
Yeah, I don't think he's dead though.
Which makes Jalen at the end of the book really a dick.
I don't
if he's
think
still alive.
He's dead.
I don't know. Her husband's status is unconfirmed, maybe?
Yeah, I don't think he's dead though.
So one cheek of his is sore, then Kara slaps the other cheek, that's sore, and then the slap happened before the fisticuffs, and then the fisticuffs happened and he got multiple punches to the face by a really short dude. So like his face, like he's been getting beaten up by, poor thing. But then they're like, where are you going? And they're like, oh, it's the middle of the Wheel of Osheim. And they're like, we'll come too. And he's like, and Jalen's like, no, you absolutely won't. I'd rather just get this over and done with as quick as possible, and you guys will just slow us down.
Yeah.
And Kara's like, well, one, we're going in that direction anyway, because I'm taking Henan home, and where does he live? Right next to the wheel, like next door. You take a step and you're there. And two, we're not going to slow you down because, again, he lives there. He's the only one of us that is not affected by the wheel, because also the wheel draws people in. It's magic, and only the people that live around the wheel can what's the word?
Like
resist.
Yeah.
Yeah, resist the wheel, because, I guess they developed an immunity. And so now they're going along too, and so they're walking along, and then riding along, and then they run into the Cardinals Caravan.
Yeah.
Yep. So up ahead on the road, there's a religious caravan, and they're like, well, fuck, I'm surrounded, like, there's a witch, because Kara's a witch, and they're like, well, fuck, they're gonna kill a Kara. So then they're like, well, we'll just stay behind them. And no, because they're moving really, 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 really slowly, and Jalen gets impatient. So he's like, fuck, fine. And so turns out it's another cardinal that Jalen lost his virginity to.
Mm-hmm.
How old was she? Was she old?
Yes.
Yeah. And he's like, look, I'm gonna go and get her seal thing. I'll see you guys in the morning. I guess he goes in to seduce it out of her. Then not a lot really happens there.
Yeah, not like a lot really happens for the rest of it, really, other than like up to us getting to the wheel and doing the wheel.
Okay, well, we'll just skip we get to the wheel eventually.
Well, there is like there is like the time when, as we're walking, I forget what.
Snorri tells his story.
Oh, I was talking about like when, I forget how this happens. I think when like Jalen's going through thinking about turning the wheel back, because you could turn the wheel back and basically reverse time. And Jalen could go back to the beginning of the book 1 or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's thinking about that. So like that's kind of a significant thing.
Yeah.
Because that's difficult. And then Snorri tells his story.
And because Jalen has the key, he actually gets to witness it, because the key lets you witness past events and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like as Snorri's telling the story, Jalen's seeing it, and Snorri runs into his son.
Yes.
Yeah. But his son looked like, a full-grown man. Like, when Jalen first sees him, he thinks that could be Snorri's father.
Yeah.
But it's actually his son. And they have words, and Snorri gets some closure there.
Yeah. I don't think he gets to see his wife or
No, just the
anything
son.
else, just his son.
Yeah, he's older. Yeah, his son from his firstborn child.
Because I think
to a different woman.
Because I think the rest of his family is already gone. I don't think they're in hell.
He sees the rest of his family later.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're not there.
Yeah.
Just his son is. And yeah, he has words with his son that, like, his son's like, look, you did what you could type thing, and it's like, it's fine. Like, I mean, it's not fine, but it's how it turned out, and you didn't let us down, Dad, effectively.
Also, we do see Tudugu in hell.
No, we see Tudugu when he sees his wife and that.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, because remember, Tudugu's like, oh, I made this for you so you could, say goodbye.
Yeah. Okay. Just kidding. Sorry.
Yeah, just his son. And then, so then Snorri's like, okay, well, I've got my closure from hell, and then he decides to leave hell, and then he comes. that's
Yeah.
why.
And then
left.
he comes back. Yeah. So
So then is there what happens with his sister again?
I forget the order of things.
I think the sister thing happens before the other stuff.
I think the sister thing happens first as well. Let me just try to double check. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think the sister thing happens first.
Okay, because I'm not gonna lie, I can't actually remember exactly how that went down.
It's honestly neither. Mostly because it's. I don't want to say it's unclear. It's not that it's unclear. It's that a lot happens.
Yeah.
And by the time you get to this part, it's at least like when you're reading it for this, and I haven't read this book in a minute. It's like, oh god, I'm tired. And
Yeah.
the brain turns off a little bit. But I know that we get rid of the sister. That does happen.
Yeah, he manages to unborn his sister, which
I can't find exactly how it happens.
That's fine.
But it does happen.
Yeah. So he manages to defeat the most powerful unborn ever. So the dead king ain't happy. Okay, the dead king is not pleased because she's been fermenting for.
William's pissed.
Yeah, William's pissed. She's been a long time in the making, and he's like, "Fuck, I let her out
Willie's
too soon."
not happy about it.
No. But then they get to the wheel.
Yeah.
And this is where the Titigu thing happens, or do they do the other? Okay.
I think this is where Titigu happens. Yeah.
Yeah, and Titigu rocks up. He's like, "Hey guys," and they're like, "Wow, it's you! Like, didn't you do a dead?" And he's like, "Yeah, but now I'm waiting. Like, we're in the Wheel of Osheim. Like, it's fine." And Titigu's like effectively, we get to say goodbye to him because we didn't get to say goodbye to him because he was just dead. So we get to say goodbye to him, but then he says to Snorri, like, "They're waiting for you. Isn't this place beautiful? We thought it would be nice for you to, have this place to say goodbye," type thing. And so then, yeah, they say Snorri sees his wife and daughters or whatever, and effectively, like, he gets to say goodbye to them, and they're like, "Look, it's not your time. It's not your time yet. We'll see you when you do die. We love you, etc., etc." It's all very nice and sweet, and they're like, like, "We're proud of you for trying."
Yeah. And then after that, we get some like stuff. So sorry, some stuff. Some
yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Along, it's confirmed about Taproot.
Yeah, so I have that part open because, like, right after that happens, like, they see a thing that says international collaboration. Like, it's an old version of Empire Tongue, very corrupted. IKOL. Last word might be laboratory. What's a laboratory? And there's a picture here too. It can't be. And then it's like Professor Lawrence Oakey, and then Dr. something, and then Dr. Elias Taproot.
Yep. And so we learn, because there's a memory thing of Taproot in there. It's not the Taproot we know, but it's Taproot, but it's not Taproot.
Yeah.
Because, we've met physical Taproot, and this is like memory box Taproot. And he's like, "Oh yeah, type thing. Effectively, what happened with Taproot was he was a builder that didn't die during, the nuclear war thing.
Yeah.
And he's managed to preserve his body or something in a box of some sort, and he can leave the box and he goes back into it.
Yep.
When he's done what he's going to do. So that's why he's not aging, because he doesn't age while he's in the box.
Yep. And what he does is he puts like a new little quirk every so often, so that like, even if you're like, I swear that's Dr. Taproot, it's not, because you're like, oh, it has to
he's
be
got a different
guy.
quirk.
Because so like the watch me thing is not like the quirk he used like last time. He used something else, like like tearing his hair out or something. I don't know.
Yeah, because then also we come across the physical Dr. Taproot, and he explains that.
Yeah.
Like almost immediately after they speak to the projection of him.
Yeah, we find real Dr. Taproot.
We also speak to to the projection thing of Lawrence O'Key.
And I think we also speak to whoever.
Oh, yeah, the other dude.
Fuck, what's her name though?
No, we don't speak to her. We speak to the other one.
We don't talk to Aslaug, her projection.
We speak to the angel.
Okay. We speak to Barakel's projection. So we get confirmation that
Barry.
We get confirmation that Barry, that like we basically get confirmation that like the gods are not gods.
No, it's a really weird thing. Like so they've got names that are similar to the names of existing like both Christian and pagan religious figures or gods, etc. And because of the way that the wheel has made magic work, etc., their people's belief in so each of them have picked one. So Dr. Lawrence O'Key is Loki.
Mm-hmm.
He created the key. And because he has adapted the persona of Loki type thing, people's belief in Loki fuels his power. Same with the others.
Yeah.
So because Barakel, everyone thinks he's an angel, he has the powers of an angel.
Yeah.
And Lawrence O'Key, aka Loki, he actually planted the seeds for the myth of Loki's key to give the key the power.
Yeah.
Because if everyone believes that this key can do all this stuff, then it will be able to do all this stuff. Because that's just it's the way that the world currently works.
Right.
So it strips back a lot of like the mystery of it all, but it's also kind of cool.
It is cool.
It is cool because it's also, again, this is all stuff that in the most theoretical branches of advanced physics, etc., this is not outside the realm of possibility.
Which is fun.
I mean, a lot of it's highly unlikely, but it's theoretically potentially possible.
Yeah, which is kind of the point.
Yeah.
It's like it won't happen, but it's fun.
It's fun to explore, and it's fun to have magic and stuff explained in a way that could potentially not be magical.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
So it rides the line. So it's like grimdark fantasy sci-fi. Like,
I mean, I would never put it into sci-fi, but the roots of the cause of everything is sci-fi.
Yeah, it's squarely sci-fi.
Yeah,
but it's also, very clearly fantasy.
Yeah, like if you like sci-fi and you don't like fantasy, you still wouldn't probably.
You would not like this because that's not.
It's not sci-fi.
It's basically sci-fi with fantasy vibes.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's technically based in science, but it doesn't feel like it's based in science.
Yeah, it feels like grimdark high fantasy, basically. So,
Yeah.
and since that's what it feels like, that's where we put it.
Yeah. So it's fun.
Yeah, so it's really fun. But then we get to basically the big showdown, and we get to see the Lady Blue, old hag she is.
And she tries to tempt Jalen into not doing a thing.
Yep.
She's like, you know, you could not. Actually, you could speed it up and just stay where you are, and you'll be safe where you are. And then we'll do a thing, and then you'll be, there'll be fuck all people left, so you'll be hella important. And so he does get tempted by this a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. Like, he's tempted at the idea of not dying.
Yeah, basically. He's like, not die?
Because also, like, he's also got this thing of, like, he's like, look, you know, I can't undo what the wheel's done, and I can't stop it. All I can do is slow it down, because he can't turn it back. He can't stop it. And even if he turns the machine off that's making the wheel spin, every time someone uses magic, it makes it spin a little bit more. So he's like, look, all I'll be doing is giving us a couple years instead of a couple weeks. So that's also why he's also like, I'm kind of tempted. But he's a good boy.
And so he slows the wheel down. Yes,
he does the right thing and slows the wheel down.
So they still don't have a lot of time.
No, and you know,
we haven't actually solved the problem, which I think is interesting.
Because this got published after Broken Empire, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we know that the problem does get solved, just not by Jalen.
Yeah.
But if Jalen hadn't done what he did, then we wouldn't have had time for the last book of Broken Empire.
That's true. It's just interesting that, like, he's like, well, so slow it down.
He's also the chosen one that didn't save the world. He just, you know, gave time for someone else to save the world.
Yeah, he's the support chosen one.
Yeah, so not only, right, like, even in like the end result of their quests, Jorg outdoes him as well, because they both set off to do they both had something to do with the wheel.
Yeah.
Jalen slowed it down. Jorg undid it.
Yeah, Jorgen actually turned it back up. Yeah, is what he did.
Yeah, with William.
Yeah, with William, they turned the wheel back and they fixed it. Which, honestly, that ending is still...
It's weird.
I don't understand it.
I mean, I'm glad. I feel like, Jorg had to die. He had to die.
Well, yeah, but it's not him dying that I don't get.
It's
literally everything else.
It's his go, because also, like, at the end of Broken Empire, like, he ends up becoming like a computer projection, like the hologram type thing, like the builders are. Like various builders we've seen throughout the thing.
What happens at the end of Broken Empire is it's pretty unclear. Exactly what's
this one has a much clearer ending.
Yeah, this one, the ending's pretty clear. Also, the last line of the book mirrors the first line of the series.
Yeah, I think it's also the scene itself does as well.
Yeah, the scene itself does, because he's sleeping with Lisa DeVere and everything. And
the opening line of the series is, my name's Jalen, and I will never let a friend down, unless, of course, not letting him down would require me to do a thing.
Yeah, something to that effect.
Whereas the last line of the book is, my name is...
I got it.
Jalen. Yeah, there we go.
You know what? This is going to be easier.
Probably.
Like, what am I doing? Let me find it. Yeah, the last line of the book is, I am a liar and a cheat and a coward, but I will never, ever, rarely let a friend down. That's the last line of this book.
So he's got a little. At least he's got a
It's a
little
little
bit of
character development.
yeah. He's added in the rally and gotten rid of the
But I will never let a friend down unless, of course, not letting a friend
qualifiers.
down involves, I think honesty, bravery, or something else.
Yeah. So he's gotten rid of the qualifiers.
Oh, honesty,
and
bravery,
added in
or
the
fair
rally.
play. That's what
Yeah.
it is.
So yeah, so he's kind of like he's come full circle. He's back in bed sleeping with someone he shouldn't be. The same someone.
The same someone he shouldn't be sleeping with.
Yeah, but he's grown a little bit.
And we went on a journey, and it was fun.
And we went on a journey.
We had a good time.
Yeah, so he's got no more responsibilities now. He has fulfilled his backup support chosen one destiny.
Yep. And now we're all good.
And Grandmama is happy with him.
Yeah.
She is all of the pleased with him.
She is. She's very pleased with him. He's a cardinal now.
Yep. And yeah.
Yeah.
He gets to go back to his life.
Yeah.
So
it would be really fun if he became king.
It would be hilarious.
It would be hilarious.
He'd be like, no work on Sundays. Why? Well, no, not for everyone, just for me. No work on Sundays.
Yeah.
Or any other day that ends with a Y.
So that is a series. What are we doing next?
I think we're gonna do Wildcats next.
Okay. Yeah, that's what we were doing. I forgot.
But I do know though that I think in like a week will be when the last House of Night book comes out. Yeah, less than a week it comes out.
My day is ruined.
Yeah, depending on how quickly we're able to get that book will depend on when we do it. Maybe next week, maybe the week after.
Yeah.
And then we're also going to, all three of us are also going to be doing Twilight soon because Midnight Sun comes out next month.
Yeah.
Yeah, beginning of August.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think our next one that we do though will be the next Vampire Diaries. If we don't have House of Night yet, it'll probably be the next Vampire Diaries.
Yeah, and then the two of us are going to be doing the Wildcats books. So
yes,
that's what we're up to, and I think with that, that's everything.
Yes, I think so.
So we will see you guys sometime next week.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye.